Okay, first order of business is the minutes of the last meeting. And I don't know if we have them printed out to read them. Let me find them. Oh, you sent them to me in an email today. I don't think so. You didn't. Sorry, guys. Where did this? Okay, I'll just go ahead and read them.
Okay, we got 25.
Great. Okay, call to order at 11 a.m. on July 18th, 2020. It was held over Zoom. Ms. Hopper began by stating that the board is not ready to open the Turnverein for dances. She then reported on various accomplishments since the last meeting, including retirement of the building mortgage last July, completion of the ballroom, and obtaining of a PPP loan. That's a Paycheck Protection Program loan. And if you complete it and file for forgiveness, it turns into a grant. I added that there. An application was filed with the Colorado Historical Society for a second phase of the windows. Other capital projects, including resurfacing of the parking lot, are on hold in order to conserve cash. Ms. Hopper announced that she would not be seeking re-election after 6 years of service as the board president. The minutes of the 2019 meeting were approved as written. A quorum of more than 25 members was present, confirmed the post-meeting by cross-checking email votes against membership records. Treasurer's report, Richard Robin gave the treasurer's report for 2019. Art Abington gave the technology report, and Kirsty Solfrank gave the social media and marketing report. Election, Ms. Hopper explained that there are 4 candidates for board position. The meeting notice directed members to a YouTube link where they could hear the recorded remarks of the candidates and then vote during 24 hours following the meeting through a specified email address. Additionally, members were asked to vote whether to approve the minutes of the 2019 meeting previously provided to members by email and to vote for the board candidates as directed. Following the tally of ballots, Ms. Hopper announced that the candidates below were elected to fill the 4 vacancies. Kimberly Connolly, Steve Eschenbach, William Murakami, and Jim Pike. Judy then opened the floor to comments and questions from members through the chat function on Zoom. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned at 11:40 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Tina Davis, Secretary. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to the minutes?
I think that would be 11:40 a.m.
Oh, I see. Well, it says p.m., but yes, it should be a.m. It was a long meeting. So do we have a motion to approve? So I have a motion by Karen Carrasco to approve. Do we have a second? Who was that? Your name? Oh, Kathy Murakami. All right, thank you, Kathy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstaining, any? Okay, carries unanimously. All right, so next on the agenda here is President's report. I want to make sure I follow the agenda. So, as I said, we're back. I've got a couple little quotes here I thought might be appropriate. So, now that we're dancing again, and I think you've all felt a hole in your soul if you haven't been dancing for a year. Dance is the hidden language of the soul. That's by Martha Graham. She was the first dancer to officially dance at the White House. Don't know when. And then Gene Kelly says, you dance love, and you dance joy, and you dance dreams. So now we can kind of feel normal and we can enjoy dancing, right? So here's what happened. The pandemic struck. The Turnverein shut down for dancing March 12th, 2020. No significant income was coming in and membership started to drop. So part of this is going back into Judy's term, the first part of last summer. The annual meeting was delayed until late July and held over Zoom. By August 2020, membership had declined from over 1,000 to under 600. We were sending out renewal notices. We had 8 members renew in August. It kind of went bleak. We didn't know when we'd get back to dancing. Thanks to the previous administration, our primary leaders on that were Judy Hopper and Richard Robbins. I believe he's here. Hi, Richard. The Turnverein had significant savings to help sustain the organization through the pandemic. Judy Hopper, president, and Richard Robbins, treasurer, had both served for several years, 6, I think to be exact, chose to retire as directors and officers in July. At the July board meeting, Art Abington was elected president, William Murakami, since we're not, well, William, raise your hand, was vice president. Jim Pike, who is in Ohio, is, by the way, his mother is ill, so that's why he's in Ohio, is treasurer, and Tina Davis secretary. We decided to have a plan of action because we were getting, frustrated with not getting back to dancing. So by August, it became apparent that it might be well into 2021 before we could start holding dances. The board decided at the August meeting to focus on what we could do while we were shut down, instead of just saying, we wish we were back dancing. What can we do? A membership sale was planned for September and October. We sold memberships at roughly half price. That brought in $8,400. Compared to we had $340 for memberships in August. A donation drive was planned for November and December. We participated in Colorado Gives. We set up recurring donation option on our website. We brought in $8,700. And how we weathered the storm. In June, before the new board, the present board sat, we got a PPP loan for $17,000, which allowed us to retain 1 full-time and 6 part-time employees. Part of the way a PPP loan works is the first quarter of the year was the key indicator. And we had 7 employees at that time, so we had to keep all of them on the payroll in order to get the loan. The good news was that we only had 1 employee that had significant income and the others were minor income, so we could pay them through September. So we paid them for July, August, and September. Ed Moore, who's here tonight, right? Ed and Steve Eschbach is on vacation. Applied for a $90,000 grant for the front and north window restoration. We would have gotten that. All the people that we talked to said, oh, your application was good, you should have gotten it, but guess what? We're not giving out any grants because the grant money depends on gambling tax revenue. And it had dropped dramatically. So, Ed and Steve redid the grant application, knocked it down to about $50,000, resubmitted it, same thing happened. But at least we gave it a college try. Is that right? So then in September, we also started focusing on private lessons. We obtained a scheduling software called Acuity. It cost us $25 a month, and it's online. And using that, we could make sure that the only people that were scheduling lessons or using Turnverein for practice sessions were approved and entered into the system. And Max, where's Max? He's in the back. So Max helped develop the training program, and he went through safety procedures and everything else with the instructors, and he cleaned down the surfaces because back then we still thought it was transmitted a lot through touch and surfaces. It also let us track who was in the building. We did have a sign-in sheet, but when an instructor scheduled a class, they had to put the names of the students in there as well. That brought in $11,000, by the way. In September, we began accepting monthly donations, something we had never done before, but we figured out how to get it done. Then Tina Davis and Kimberly Conley, which was one of our new board members as of last July, they began sending individual thank you emails to everybody that donated and joined, a little personal touch. We signed up for the Amazon Smile program in November. That allowed members to designate 0.5% of the purchase price to be donated to the Turnverein at no expense for them. I don't have an exact number, but we've gotten 2 or 3 checks or bank deposits from Amazon. So I think it happens quarterly. In November, Karen Carrasco. Karen, would you stand up? Karen used to be on the board, and she at one time was the treasurer of the Turnverein. She's been involved with Turnverein for a number of years, and she runs a nonprofit that's very similar to ours, and that is dance focused, and has about the same annual budget as the Turnverein. So she urged us to apply for an arts venue grant. We are a nonprofit for the arts. Okay, and thanks to Karen's help, Karen and I worked on that a lot. We got a $25,000 grant in November or early December. Then in December, Kirsty Saltron came up with the idea to promote gift membership. So we had a gift membership drive, and we sold about 20. So I think they were $39, so that was like $800. In January, Ed and Steve stepped up again, and they applied for another art grant. By that time, Congress had passed a second COVID Relief Act, and we applied again. We got $30,000. And then William, down here, applied for a second PPP loan, and we received $14,000. And that money will carry us through on payroll until probably the end of July, close to the end of July. By March 1st, 2021, we had more money in the bank than we did on March 1st, the year before. And by April, we'd even got more money. We had the highest bank balance we've ever had. It is now dwindling because, all the fundraising efforts and membership sales stopped and the grants stopped and everything. So, we're going to have to live on this while we recover, but we're in really good financial shape. So then in March, we applied for another credit, which is related to the amount of money we have to pay for payroll taxes. And we had kept everybody on the payroll in the summer of last year, and we had payroll from the fall. You can apply per quarter. So we've applied for 3 quarters, a refund on that or a credit, and we just got our first check of $8,500. So we expect a total of $13,000 to eventually roll in off of those credits, maybe more. Challenges and opportunities here. So I wanted to thank Jerry Hansen because all during the pandemic, raise your hand, Jerry, or stand up. Does anybody know Jerry? If you don't, you should, because he dances with everybody. And he's kind of like a dancing machine. You can't stop him, right? But anyway, he started remodeling the area at the bottom of the stairs. He cleaned up everything. He repainted the walls. He repainted the steam pipes along the ceiling. He laid new flooring. He did a lot of other little projects around here, too. I want to really thank you, Jerry. Can we give Jerry a round of applause? So then, in November, the temperature dropped and when it got below 20 degrees, the heating system shut off. And I won't go into all the problems and whys of that, but we had some money from the grant by that time and, or some additional income, and we spent $13,000, getting that done, getting that repaired to an extent. Max had to actually spend a couple nights all night here because the boiler would run for an hour and a half or 2 hours and then it would shut down, and then he had to drain water out of it. And they had started again. And we spent $13,000 on it. It's not 100% fixed. We will probably need to spend some more money on that. You know, when you have a 100-year-old building, this is our 100th anniversary this year, you get some complications. And just to put that in perspective, about 20 years ago, maybe a little less than that, we had to upgrade the electrical. Does anybody remember what we spent on the electrical? Just put that in perspective. We spent $175,000 upgrading the electrical about 18 years ago. It'd probably be 50% higher now. But you know, just to give you, so we spent $13,000 on the boiler and it's not completely fixed. Well, that's just what happens with old buildings. In April, again, with Steve Eschenbach started really hammering on us to clean out all the years and years of accumulation, and Jerry was involved in that too. And we ordered a roll-off dumpster, which Steve, I think, coordinated all of that. We completely filled that. We had it here about 5 weeks. They also organized a yard sale. We raised about a little over $2,000, I believe, and we sold the piano, which is completely broken. I mean, it's a name brand piano, but it was just a big boat anchor, but somebody wanted to take a chance and restore it, and we sold it with no guarantees. So we didn't ask much for it, but it's out of here. Instead of having to pay to have somebody take it away. In April, the board approved the project to convert the coat room into a ticket office, which gives us a much more open effect in the lobby. It also improves the security for handling money. We will eventually have some windows or other things in that open space there. We just haven't got completely finished. Jesse Hopkins, a Whitney dancer, volunteered to do a significant part of the construction, and he and I moved the wall in the ladies' bathroom so that we could have room to put a substantial coat rack in there. That's why the wall got moved back. And the project took about 3 weeks, and Max helped an awful lot with the painting and other things on that. We did this to keep the costs low. There are still a few details to finish, and then we'll put a coat rack, a substantial one, in the basement for the men. So then Jerry got busy on our storage area downstairs that is used to store our tablecloths and other regular supplies, and he single-handedly cleared that thing out. It was just really needed it. And he's painted it. He rearranged the shelving in there. It's big steel shelving. He's very creative and organized. Again, thank you so much. I'd come in here at 10 o'clock or something, and he'd been here since 7 in the morning. Anyway, and then Steve Eschenbach coordinated a plumber effort. He was out here, I think, twice. We had a drain that was backing up every time we washed clothes or every time the bar had to wash dishes, and leaking in the floor in that back room. So we've got most of that done. We will probably need, to have a fund to put aside maybe 10 to 15,000 if we ever have to dig into the floor and replace the line, but we've got it mostly working reliably now. Steve also was very concerned. We have so many extension cords and outlets and everything else in the ballroom and other areas. He got an electrician out here to inspect everything, and we put a couple new circuits in. We replaced some outlets. And so we are much better off with, don't have as much fire risk. We still have a couple of little things to take care of. So then, our plans going forward in May, the board had to make tough decisions this year because everything was new. Everything was different. Should we do this? Should we do that? And if we have a membership sale, for example, how long should it be and what price should it be and all this stuff. And so every decision was a lot of thought and a lot of back and forth. And the board decided that the only thing that they could get a motion for to approve was to open up as of June 1st and require vaccination and not require masks. We thought if we opened it up to non-vaccinated people, that would keep other people away. If we required masks, that would keep people away. And it looks like the board made a good decision because we've really had a real much higher attendance than we thought. I think at best we thought we'd have about half of what we have had at the dances. We've had some really fun dances so far in June. The board will continue to monitor the information on this because it changes. Cases in Colorado are now going up, and 60-some% of them are the new variant that is labeled D or Delta. And in Mesa County, it's really a crisis right now. The hospitalizations are way up and all that. And this new variant is much more contagious, and when you do get it, you have much stronger symptoms and a higher fever. And just to put a plug in, the report I read just a few days ago is in the hospital in Grand Junction. All the people that are in the hospital, most of them in ICU, and it's about double what it was 6 weeks ago, all of them have not been vaccinated. There isn't a single vaccinated person in the hospital in Grand Junction. And it's the highest infected county right now in Colorado. So I think the board made the right decision. Oh, and by the way, the vote was unanimous with one abstaining. Plans going forward. The board, because we're in good financial shape and we want to get back to dancing, and a lot of the clubs and groups were saying, is it worth the effort? What if we only have 20 people? How can we afford to pay the Turnverein to have dance? First, they announced that all Turnverein sponsored dances would be free through June 19th. I think there's 7 of them, counting country and ballroom. The next thing they did is they lowered the rates that the club pays. Clubs paid 75% of what the normal price was. So the clubs are getting a real break. When they open for a dance, they don't have to worry about attendance because they'll probably get enough to cover that amount. We've decided as a board that we wouldn't fix the prices scheduled for the rest of the year, but the general consensus is we won't slam the clubs in August or sometime and just raise it to the regular rate. It'll be a gradual increase so that they can keep increasing their attendance and afford to pay bills in the end of the year. We also reduced the rates for outside dance organizations. I mean, it says dance center right on the outside of the building. So if it's a dance-related event, if it's like Lindy on the Rocks, which is Karen's group, if it's Tango on the Rocks, which is John and Jessica, John Miller, and if it is, there's one if it's USA Dance, they're only going to pay about 50% more than a club pays, which is, clubs get the best deal because they commit to every week. So we've already gotten 3 events. We're working on more for the rest of the year. And there is a synergy there because just take USA Dance, for example. If they have 100 people, probably 50 of them are already members of the Turnverein. And if they have their event here, there's always a chance that a good number of the other 50 will decide they want to dance here and join too. So there's a synergy between that, rather and say a business meeting. When we got a business meeting here, I don't even know if we get one person that joined from a business meeting. Other plans going forward, dancing opens June 3rd, followed by On the Country, followed by the Bash on the 5th, followed by Rock Mountain Swing on the 6th, Ballroom on the 7th, and Tango on the 8th. That is an aggressive opening, and we did it. Attendance, as I mentioned, was higher than anticipated. Tango, Steve Blakely is the president of Tango, okay? I think most people don't understand it if you can. Tango agreed to hold a free dance on the 8th, and they made it free to members and non-members, of course, vaccination requirement, right? As a way to try to help the Turnverein and thank the Turnverein for giving them a break on the rates. So that was a big plus. Thank you, Steve. Lindy may resume in July. It's a real challenge. It's hard to get DJs. We either have DJs who have lost interest or haven't gotten vaccinated. For example, for Ballroom, we have two, Caroline Catani and myself. And Caroline's had a real schedule issue, so she's only going to DJ once a month. Well, we have 6 ballroom dances a month if you count the bashes. Country, we had Jerry's computer is having a problem. One of the other DJs is not available. I think we might have Benjamin Bridge DJ for one time, but I'm covering the DJs at the Country until we get more DJs. So Lindy's running into the same problem. Salsa's running into the same problem. I think Steve's probably had some challenges in that area too, we think of, but we're doing it, right? Wednesday, salsa, they have a real shortage of people. Their board is down to 3, and one of the board members just had a keyboard member, looks like, they might be facing something serious, cancer or something else, so who knows whether they will even be active in the organization. So they're targeting August. I want to make a big thank you to all our members and other people who supported the Turnverein within the past 15, 16 months with your renewals and your donations. I want to have a big thank you to the board members, because most of the meetings were pretty strenuous, or whatever. There was a lot of anxiety as to whether we were doing things right. There was a lot of back and forth about what's the best way to proceed, and I think they made the right decisions all along. And our 3 employees that carried us through the whole time, I want to thank Max. He's right there in the back. Sandy Genova, who is a longtime member, and her and Joe pretty much run salsa. Sandy stuck with us during the whole thing. This is our email and our membership, and Julie McLean, who was brand new here, had a lot of accounting catch up to do and learning our system. So big thank you to everybody. We're back. I'm going to give the treasurer report. Are there any questions on the president's report? Okay, you can wake up now. Let's see. I have to find the right file. Okay, I'm going to have to move this to the other screen, I believe. And I don't have a way, it's not a PowerPoint, it's a PDF, so I might have a challenge. Let me do this. duplicate the screen. There we go. Now where did it go? Sorry about that. Okay. Why is it doing what it's doing? Yeah. Well, that TV is a small resolution. It's really old. Okay. And it keeps doing this thing at the bottom of the page. Let's do this. Okay. So fiscal year 2021 was a very challenging year for the Denver Turnverein due to COVID-19. The Denver Turnverein closed in March, only reopened through social distancing in June. As an old building, we have significant fixed costs related to ongoing maintenance and baseline operations. We were able to reopen our instructors in the fall of 2020, which generated some revenue. We're extremely grateful and thankful to all those who continue to support us through donations and memberships. As of May 1st, 383 individuals have continued their membership throughout the course of the pandemic. So we dropped from 1,000 in March of 2020 to 383 as of May 1st. And it's building back up right now. So Jim likes to do these really cool charts. I like it. So this is our revenue income. It shows that it did decline. Now, this is not counting all the assistance we got, but in 2018, we had an annual revenue of 313,000. In 2019, 295. In 2020, 251. And without assistance, we went down to $66,000 if we had normal operation. He's broken it out by donations. You see back in 2018, we had a lot of donations, and then they started falling off. But as you can see on the last bar, roughly a third, maybe more, of our income was from donations. The gray is membership, and the yellow is hall usage. So one of the reasons that it declined is our hall usage in 2019. By the way, when you say fiscal year 2019, that our fiscal year ends April 30th. So it's New Year starts on May 1st. So 2019 would be ending May of 2019, or April of 2019. So we had 187,000 in home rental, and then this past year, 20,000. Our expenses are not necessarily fixed, but they don't reduce with our income. You have a basic cost of operation. So we managed to reduce expenses from 221,000 to 135. So while our income went down 80% or 90%, our expenses only went down about 30%. This is the breakdown. The blue is payroll. And he's broken it down into office wages and payroll taxes and other wages, but, you know, we spend almost half of, this past year, almost half of what we had this past year on payroll. Other taxes and fees look like that, you know, totally they are about 8%. Boiler maintenance repairs on the maintenance snow removal, looks like it's a total of 16, 17%. So that's how the pie breaks down. So we've had our first major operating loss. In 2014, we lost 5,000. In fiscal year 2018, we made 88,000. This year, if we hadn't had assistance, we lost 79,000. But, and I did just down everything that I listed on here, because some of it just came in, but, you know, of the 79,000 at the time that he did this report, we gained, you know, 17,000 with the first PPP loan, 25,000 grant, 30,000 grant, some other money. Instead of losing, at the time this report was put together, that which was the end of the year, instead of losing 79,000, we were 6,000 short. And our cash flow, no, this is accounting profit, which is different than cash flow. So when I was talking about how much money we have at bank and all that, you account for it a little different than just what you make. It shows you actual profit and loss, which is balance sheet. So, Jim worked hard on the budget. I think 4 people or 5 people were on the budget committee. One of them, she on the budget committee. Tina, you were on the budget committee. Jim, I can't think of who else was, but you know, they went through everything. I think this was one of the first years that we really had to figure out what the budget would be, because in past years, our operations did not change much from year to year. So we can say, well, we think, you know, our costs are going to go up a few percent. We'll try to run our percentages down a few percent. The budget was pretty straightforward. This year, it's like, well, you know, we got to figure out what we're going to do. How fast can the finances get back and all that. So they did a lot of work on the budget. So the 2022 budget, as far as revenue, we're expecting 160,000 in revenue, and we're expecting 240,000 in expenses. So, according to the budget committee, we're hoping to do better than that. We're going to have a loss from May 1st through next April 30th. So it's a good thing we've got a lot of money in the bank. So I'll put in a plug. Encourage your friends to get vaccinated and encourage them to get their butts here and start dancing. Because that's the way we're going to recover. All right, are there any questions? One thing that's really good about Jim is super analytical, and he produces really pretty charts. Yeah.
Tell them a question. If this is a dance club, you've got all these dance activities that would be willing to come in here. Are you going to allow art shows or any other life event kinds of events in here?
Well, we are, but all our most significant revenue comes from dancing. I can put Julie Nordstrom on the spot, maybe. I don't see her. I can't figure out where she is. Okay. Do you think you can get 10,000 from art shows in a year? No. It's if we could get $1,000 from an art show, it would. So you know, not to make little of our but the art shows give us benefits and interest in other ways than actual cash. Oh, absolutely not. In fact, we have been fraternal organization. So the organization started in 1865. That's the same year the Civil War ended. Did you know that? Then the Denver Turnverein started that year. And they moved in slowly 100 years ago. But until 5 years ago, we were a fraternal organization, much similar to the Elks. So we weren't a tax deductible nonprofit. We were a nonprofit, but we didn't qualify for tax deductible donations. And we kept our accounting system in line with fraternal organizations. And we are still affiliated with a fraternal organization, but we are changing our focus even now to our accounting system because in the past, we got grants for building improvement through the historical fund. We didn't get grants as a nonprofit charity, but now we can get grants as a nonprofit charity. So we are massaging that to have programs. So charitable nonprofits have programs where we are going to step up dance education a little bit, provide more education to our dance education program. That is an important key word in nonprofit business, education. Okay, we're going to have a social dance program. We're going to have a competitive dance program. We're going to have a German heritage program, and we're going to have a visual arts program, and we're going to have any other kind of charitable arts programs that we can get support for. So that's the direction we're going. We don't expect a lot of revenue from our visual arts right now. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Where's my agenda? Well, it disappeared. So, next up is nominating committee. Acknowledge Steve. You want the mic?
You want to review the director terms and responsibilities?
Okay, so responsibilities in terms of members for the board of directors, we are elected to 3-year terms. Because this is a fairly complicated organization. A lot of rules, a lot of do's and don'ts, a lot of details. And we need continuity. We can't have a brand new board every year. So it's a 3-year commitment. If something happens, you can get out, but we encourage you to stay 3 years. But then every year we elect 4 directors. We have staggering terms. 4 directors expire every year, 4 directors get elected or re-elected. Then also every year the board meets the day after the election and elects officers. So we have 5 officers: president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and membership director. They are all officers. So we'll do that. To be on the board, you have to be a member. To be elected to the board, you have to have been a member in good standing, which means you have had to have a continuous current membership for at least 30 days prior to the meeting. So that's the requirements.
Okay, so everyone should have a ballot. Does anyone who does not have a ballot? There are 3 candidates currently on the ballot. Are there any nominations from the floor? Anybody who wants to nominate themselves? Given that, I would like to make a motion to place Abraham Matthew on the ballot and get a second on that. And before I do,
So
is there
let's,
anything you want to say about Abraham?
yeah, let me say something.
So Abraham is a very educated professional. He's young, which is in my view, it's really good for us to have younger people on board. I would say he's over 30s. He just moved here. He lives in one of these condos across the street. He's very excited about helping the Turnverein. He understands it's a 3-year commitment. He has one wrinkle. He joined May 23rd and May 25th.
you have had to be a member since they came to officially be on the ballot. But however, Steve is wanting, Steve made the motion, right? Steve is making the motion to waive that requirement because we think he's a good candidate. And so I'm asking if we have a second to that motion. All right. Shelby. Second. Any discussion? If you want to voice your opinion, pro or con? Okay, we'll take a vote. Let's take a verbal vote and we'll see how it goes. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstaining? All right, so you can write the word Abraham on your ballot. He's officially on the ballot. I'm sorry we don't have a lot of pins. Would somebody bring the pins in from the front desk? Okay, so we have 4 candidates. You don't have to vote for all 4 of them. But of course, we need 4 directors. So, or we prefer to have 4 directors. So, turn your ballots in at the front desk. Judy Hunter has a bucket. So Judy and Julie Nordstrom are the election committee, and they're going to work with George to, well, they're going to work, maybe not with George, they're going to work to tally it up, and we will adjourn the meeting, and at some point during the dance, we will announce the results. Do we have any members that wish to be heard or any new business? You have 2 minutes. Introduce yourself.
Richard was I took express a concern from Colette Smith. Colette Smith would like to have some handouts put in their cubicles in the ladies' restroom because she's having trouble.
So thank you, and this is something that we are concerned about. And we're gonna take it real seriously and try to figure out, what rails we can have, and we'll take it up the board meeting tomorrow. I don't think we'll have any objections to that at all. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Do we have any other members to be heard? Please introduce yourself.
Hi all, my name is Robin Bronson, and some of you know me. I usually go to country, used to go to salsa, and now I'm in forward. So I have some ideas. I had to text myself my ideas so I wouldn't forget. And Art said, you don't forget to come on Monday. So I just have some suggestions that mostly they're social in nature. A couple have to do with security, but one, I'm a huge fan of name tags because I think that they really do build a sense of community. I don't know 99% of you all, you guys don't know me. So I think it would be really nice to have name tags. I know when I wear one, people seem to enjoy it, helps them remember who you are. And with that, I thought it'd be a good idea to have green name tags or maybe just yellow or different color that stands out for people who are completely new here. I saw that at a church service once in like the coffee hour afterwards. And the reason there was a different color for your coffee mug is they wanted people that purposely go up to you and welcome you. So I think that would be a way to really welcome newbies here. With that, another idea is we could have a table that's dedicated to people who are here alone, like me, or people who are new and just want to know there's always a friendly place to sit. And it could be a table in the same spot every week. Now, a couple of suggestions to encourage more men to ask women to dance. That's a problem that I've treated a lot of social dances where a lot of women don't want to ask men to dance. They feel shy, they feel uncomfortable. I get it. I've been one of them. I'm not shy anymore. But we could have once a month a dance card, a name card contest, where gentlemen, you would have a card where every woman you ask to dance, you have to sign the card. And whoever gets, is the most signatures at the end of the night would win a prize or something. And with that, I forgot the name of what is the name of the dance for the women after the men to dance? Thank you. We could have that and have it like once a month, like a regular thing. So for people who are really shy and don't want to ask men to dance, they know that hey, if I come on the first or the fourth of each month, I know that it's ladies' choice, and so I have to ask people to dance, and it's a little different. All right, I'm almost done, I swear. I feel like this is a lot of suggestions to put on here, but also we used to announce that a man could escort a woman to her car at night, and I haven't heard that, and I think that even though it kind of goes without saying that you can always ask somebody, I think it'd be really good to announce it again. So women know they have someone to walk into their car. It's a little scary down here, we're going to go back. And then with that, I don't think this is going to go anywhere, but I think it'd be nice if some of the spots that are closest are staged for single women, so they don't have to walk with parking the bank or. All right, and then lastly, this is my last thing. I want to help bring people to the Turnverein, no matter what night it is. And I don't know if we advertise it all on Facebook or media, but those are some of the best ways to really advertise this and get in a lot of new people. And I'd be willing to help with that. But I want to see more folks here too.
Thank you.
I think those are great suggestions. In fact, we can come up and talk to you later. One of the things I would like to start doing, we have a couple of people on the board that have been trying to do more with social media, but I think we could use some more help and some creativity. I think we ought to have some Facebook Live things. You know, when we have a dance batch and we have a class of 75 people, we should be out on Facebook Live and say, look, how many people were taking the lesson. And, you know, Jennifer is the instructor tonight or whoever, and broadcast 10 minutes of the lesson on Facebook, and, you know, they broadcast the salsa or the samba line dance or something, or some other dance, and say, come on down, you know, things are really hot. And maybe take some pictures of every dance and put them out on Twitter as they're happening. All right. Anyone else? So talk to me about that if you want to do. I would say let's dance, but I think I need a motion for adjournment. And that was your motion. Do we have a second? Tina seconded it. All in favor? Any opposed? So you all have your assignments. You notice that a lot of these tables don't have chairs because you sit in them. Can I get everybody to pick up their chair, go take it someplace where it's out of the hands work? And I'm going to take the suggestion right now. The Foxtrot will be a ladies' choice. So Foxtrot's coming up after the waltz. And it's a ladies' choice.